General Lee Min-ho stared at the massive holographic display showing human positions across the galaxy. Red dots marked every human settlement, research station, and military base in council space. There were thousands of them. Getting everyone out in 30 days seemed impossible. "Status report," he said to his staff. 2,300,000 humans to evacuate, reported his aide, Captain Yoon Jae-won. "Spread across 412 locations. We have cargo ships moving to every site. And the intelligence gathering? Going better than expected, sir. Every human leaving council space is bringing something valuable with them." Lee Min-ho nodded. What looked like a desperate evacuation was actually the largest intelligence operation in human history. Every human trader, diplomat, scientist, and tourist had been secretly documenting everything they had seen during their years in council space. On the mining station orbiting Vega Prime, engineer Choi Yu-jin was packing the last of the heavy equipment. But she was also copying the detailed scans her machines had made of the asteroid belt. The council thought humans were just mining rocks. They had no idea that human sensors had been mapping every mineral deposit, every hidden resource, every weakness in council defenses. "Ma'am," one of her workers called out. "The transport is here." Choi Yu-jin looked around the station one last time. She had spent 3 years here, learning how council species mined asteroids. Their methods were slow and careful. Humans could strip this entire belt in 6 months if they wanted to, but the council would never let them try such aggressive mining. Now they could try anything they wanted. On the other side of the galaxy, Dr. Shin Hyewan was making final preparations at the genetic research lab on Tau Ceti. The council had strict rules about genetic modification. Humans were only allowed to study alien genetics, never to change themselves. But Dr. Shin had been secretly working on human enhancement projects for years. Now she was taking all that research with her, along with genetic samples from dozens of council species. Once they were outside council space, she could finally test her theories about human adaptation. "Doctor," her assistant said, "the evacuation ship is requesting permission to dock." "Tell them 5 more minutes," she replied, finishing her download of the facility's entire genetic database. The council species had collected genetic information from thousands of worlds over centuries. Now humanity would have access to all of it. Meanwhile, Captain Yoon Jae-won was leading the first deep space exploration mission beyond the galactic rim. His ship, the Soul, was officially evacuating human personnel from a remote research station. Unofficially, it was scouting for new worlds. "Captain," his navigator called out, "sensors are picking up something interesting in the Kepler 442 system." "Show me." The display lit up with data about a star system the Council had never bothered to explore. 3 habitable planets, rich in metals, no signs of intelligent life. Perfect for human colonization. "Mark this system as priority 1 for settlement," Yoon Jae-won ordered. "And keep scanning. I want to find a dozen systems like this before we head home." His mission would discover 47 uninhabited systems suitable for human colonies. The Council thought they were banishing humans to empty space. They had no idea how much empty space there was or how good humans were at making use of it. Back on Earth, government officials were working around the clock to coordinate the evacuation. But they were also planning for the future. Every returning human was debriefed about Council technology, politics, and weaknesses. The picture that emerged surprised everyone. The Council was not the unified, powerful government it pretended to be. Many member species were unhappy with Council rules. Some were actively looking for alternatives but were too afraid to rebel openly. "We're not just getting our people back," Admiral Han Woo-jin told the Emergency Council meeting. "We're getting intelligence on every Council species, their technologies, their resources, their internal problems. When we return to this part of the galaxy, we won't be coming back as beggars." 1 week before the deadline, something unexpected happened. A small alien ship approached Earth, flying a diplomatic flag. On board was Kylexia, a member of the Cetian Assembly, one of the smaller Council species. "I request asylum," she told the Human Border Patrol. "My people are tired of Council restrictions. We want to join humanity in exile." She was not the only one. As word spread through the galaxy's underground networks, dozens of alien individuals and small groups began fleeing Council space to join the humans. Scientists whose research was blocked by Council bureaucracy, traders tired of Council taxes and regulations, soldiers who wanted to fight for something they believed in. The Council noticed the defections too late to stop them. By the time they tried to tighten border controls, hundreds of aliens had already escaped to human space. Dr. Kim Tae-ho was delighted by these developments. "Don't you see?" he told his colleagues. The Council didn't just exile humanity. They created the core of a new government. Us plus everyone who's unhappy with the old system. On the final day of evacuation, the last human transport ship left Council space right on schedule. Behind them, they left empty stations, abandoned equipment, and a galaxy that suddenly seemed much quieter. But they also left something else. A network of alien contacts who would continue to send information to human space. Traders who would secretly supply human colonies with rare materials. Scientists who would share research the Council tried to suppress. The evacuation had turned into something much more valuable than anyone had planned. As the transport ships reached the edge of Council space, Admiral Han Woo-jin sent a final message to the Council. "Thank you for freeing us from your limitations. Humanity will remember this gift." General Lee Min-ho watched the last ships jump to hyperspace and smiled. The Council thought they had solved their human problem. Instead, they had just given humanity everything they needed to build something better. "Sir," Captain Yoon Jae-won reported, "all personnel successfully evacuated. No losses. Excellent. Now comes the real work." Lee Min-ho turned to address his staff. "We have 30 systems ready for colonization, complete intelligence on Council weaknesses and allies from a dozen species. The Council wanted to get rid of us. Let's make sure they regret that decision." The exodus was over. The building could begin. 5 years had passed since the exile, and Governor Kang Soo-bin stood on the observation deck of New Busan's orbital station, watching cargo ships rise from the planet's surface like a stream of metal insects. Each ship carried processed metals, rare minerals, and manufactured goods that would supply dozens of human colonies. The planet below had been a barren rock when the first human settlers arrived. Now it gleamed with cities, factories, and mining operations. What would have taken the Council centuries to develop, humans had accomplished in 5 years. "Production report, Governor," her aide announced, handing her a data pad. Kang Soo-bin read the numbers and smiled. "We're producing more refined materials this month than the entire Vegan Consortium produces in a year." "How is that possible?" "Human workers can operate in environments that would kill most Council species," her aide explained. "Our people work in the deep mines, the high radiation zones, the extreme temperature areas. Plus, we're using techniques the Council would never approve of." That was the key difference. The Council had rules about everything: how fast you could strip mine a world, how many people could live in one area, what kinds of genetic modifications were allowed. Humans had no such restrictions now. Dr. Oh Yoon-ji had perfected techniques that were revolutionary in their simplicity. Instead of spending decades terraforming a world to suit humans, she modified humans to suit the world, then gradually changed the world to be even better. Humans with enhanced lungs worked in low-oxygen environments. Humans with radiation resistance mined dangerous materials. Humans with cold tolerance colonized ice worlds. "The beauty of it," Dr. O explained to visiting scientists, "is that we're not just adapting to these worlds, we're making them better. A world that was useless to Council species becomes a productive human world in just a few years." Admiral Park Dong-hyun commanded humanity's new fleet from his flagship, the Incheon. The bridge looked similar to old human ships, but every system had been upgraded with lessons learned from studying Council technology. "Status report on the new destroyers," he requested. 43 ships completed, sir. Each one is faster and more heavily armed than the equivalent Council design. Our engineers have solved the power distribution problems that limited Council ships." The Admiral nodded with satisfaction. Human ships were no longer copies of Council designs. They were improvements. Human engineers had taken every alien technology they had encountered and made it better through human innovation and willingness to take risks. But the most important, development was happening in the shadows. Merchant Kim Hyun-soo ran what appeared to be a simple trading company. In reality, he commanded a network of human agents operating throughout Council space. Latest intelligence from the Council core worlds, he reported to his superiors. Food shortages on 3 agricultural worlds. The Insectoid Collective is demanding better representation in the Council. The Silicon Brotherhood is having internal power struggles. His agents looked like many different species thanks to advanced human surgery and genetic modification. They moved through Council space freely. gathering intelligence, recruiting dissatisfied aliens, and slowly building a network of contacts who were ready for change. More importantly, Kim continued, we have confirmation that the Aquatic League is secretly negotiating to leave the Council. They want to join us. The Aquatic League controlled some of the richest water worlds in the galaxy. Their defection would be a massive blow to the Council's economy and a huge gain for humanity's growing alliance. Diplomat Ryu Ji-won was the public face of these secret negotiations. Officially, she was humanity's ambassador to neutral space. Unofficially, she was building the framework for a new kind of galactic government. The Free Worlds Alliance Charter is complete, she announced to the Human Leadership Council. Any species can join as equals. No dominant species, no junior members. Every world gets a voice based on population, not on how long they've been in space. It was everything the Council was not. Where the Council had rigid hierarchies, the Alliance offered equality. Where the Council restricted expansion and development, the Alliance encouraged growth and innovation. Where the Council forbade genetic modification and dangerous technologies, the Alliance let each species choose for itself. The first non-human species to officially join was the Cetian Assembly. Kylexia, who had been the first alien to defect to humanity, was now the Alliance's Secretary of Interspecies Relations. My people have tripled their population since joining the Alliance, she reported. Human medical technology has eliminated diseases that killed thousands of our children every year. Human manufacturing has given us tools we never dreamed of having. But the real test came when the Council sent a diplomatic mission to demand the return of stolen Council technology and personnel. The meeting took place on the neutral station at Wolf 359. Council Speaker Vorthak himself led the delegation, his crystal body flashing angry red colors as he faced Admiral Han Wu-jin across a conference table. You have violated the terms of your exile, Vorthak declared. Council citizens have defected to your territory. Council technology has been copied and modified. This aggression must end. Admiral Han, now serving as humanity's supreme military commander, listened calmly before responding. Every being who joined us came voluntarily. We forced no one. As for technology, we developed our own improvements. Unless the Council claims to own the basic laws of physics, you know what you have done, Vorthak replied, his crystal body now pulsing with angry light. You have destabilized the galaxy. Species that were loyal for centuries are questioning Council authority. Perhaps, suggested Ryu Ji-won, they are questioning it because they have seen a better alternative. She gestured to the viewport, where Alliance ships could be seen docked alongside vessels from dozens of species. Look around you, Speaker Vorthak. This station processes more trade in a day than most Council worlds see in a month. Why? Because we don't tax every transaction, regulate every innovation, or limit every dream. The Council delegation left without agreement, but they also left without issuing any ultimatums. They could see the writing on the wall. The Alliance was growing stronger every day, while the Council struggled to maintain control of increasingly restless member species. Back on New Busan, Governor Kang Soo-bin received reports from across Alliance space. 57 human colonies were thriving. 23 alien species had joined the Alliance. Production was increasing by 20% every year. Governor, her aide reported, we've received a message from Earth. They want to know if we're ready for the next phase. Kang Soo-bin looked out at the bustling space traffic around her world. Humans and aliens working together, building something the galaxy had never seen before. Tell Earth we're not just ready, she said. We're eager to show the galaxy what real progress looks like. The building phase was complete. Soon it would be time for the galaxy to see what humanity had really accomplished during their years in exile. The alarm on the Council patrol ship Righteous Purpose began blaring as soon as they dropped out of hyperspace. Commander Zethris, a tall reptilian being with scales that changed color with his emotions, stared at the sensor readings in disbelief. Report, he ordered, his scales shifting to confused yellow-green. Sir, there are human ships in this system. 7 vessels, unknown configuration. They're orbiting the 3rd planet. Zethris felt his scales darken to angry red. Impossible. This system is uncharted Council territory. Humans were banned from Council space 8 years ago. Sir, the humans are hailing us, so I put them through. The viewscreen filled with the face of a human in a blue uniform. The man looked calm and confident, not like someone caught breaking galactic law. Council vessel, this is Fleet Admiral Baek Jin-woo of the Free Worlds Alliance. You are approaching Alliance territory. Please state your business here. Zethris's scales flashed bright red with fury. Alliance territory? This is Council space, human. You are in violation of your exile. Withdraw immediately or face the consequences. Admiral Baek smiled slightly. Commander, I suggest you check your records more carefully. This system was never claimed by the Council. We have been here for 3 years. Our colony on the third planet has 40,000 residents. Impossible, Zethris repeated, but his scales were already shifting to uncertain orange. He turned to his navigation officer. Verify our position. After several tense minutes, the navigation officer confirmed what Zethris feared. Sir, this system is not on any Council star charts. It appears to be genuinely uncharted territory. From the planet's surface, Governor Song Miran watched the confrontation through the colony's defense center. New. Seoul was one of humanity's proudest achievements. A garden world transformed from useless rock into a thriving home for humans and aliens alike. Admiral Baek is handling this perfectly, she told her staff. Stay calm, but be ready. If shooting starts, we have surprises the Council won't expect. Those surprises included defense platforms that could destroy ships 3 times their size, and human-designed fighters that were faster and more maneuverable than anything in Council fleets. The standoff continued for hours as both sides called for reinforcements. More Council ships arrived, but so did more Alliance vessels. Within a day, 2 full fleets faced each other across empty space. Intelligence Chief Nam Seok-jin arrived on the Alliance flagship with data that would change everything. Admiral, he reported privately. Our sources inside Council space confirm what we suspected. 12 more species are ready to defect. They're just waiting for us to prove we can stand up to Council pressure. Then let's give them that proof, Admiral Baek replied. The real surprise came when Ambassador Song Mi-ran arrived at the confrontation zone, but not alone. Her diplomatic vessel was escorted by ships from the Aquatic League, the Gaseous Collectives, and the Crystal Gardens, all former Council members who had secretly joined the Alliance. Commander Zethris, she transmitted to the Council fleet. I am Ambassador Song Mi-ran of the Free Worlds Alliance. I have come to offer you a choice. The only choice is immediate withdrawal, Zethris replied, though his scales had shifted to nervous purple. Actually, you have 3 choices, Song Mi-ran continued calmly. First, you can attack us. Your fleet will be destroyed, and the galaxy will see that the Council solves problems through violence. Second, you can withdraw and report that you found an Alliance colony in unclaimed space. Your government will be forced to admit they cannot control territory they never actually owned. Or third, she paused for effect, you can listen to what we have to offer. What followed was unlike any diplomatic contact in galactic history. Instead of one government threatening another, it was a presentation of 2 completely different ways of organizing civilization. Commander Zethris found himself in a conference room aboard the Alliance flagship, surrounded by beings from species he thought were loyal to the Council. Kylexia, formerly of the Cetian Assembly, served as translator and guide. Commander, she explained, 3 years ago my people were dying of genetic diseases the Council said were incurable. Today, thanks to Alliance medical technology, those diseases no longer exist. Our children are healthy, our worlds are productive, our people are happy. You betrayed the Council, Zethris accused, his scales flashing angry red. We chose freedom, Kylexia replied calmly. The Council told us we couldn't modify our genetics, couldn't expand too quickly, couldn't develop dangerous technologies. The Alliance told us to try whatever we thought might work. The results speak for themselves. Admiral Baek took Zethris on a tour of the colony world. What the commander saw challenged everything he believed about galactic civilization. Humans and aliens worked together as equals. Children from different species played together in schools designed for their different needs. Factories produced goods using techniques the Council had banned as too dangerous or too fast. How many worlds like this do you have? Zethris asked, his scales now a thoughtful blue-green. 87 colonies across 43 systems, Admiral Baek replied. All of them built in the past 8 years. All of them thriving. The Council commander was quiet for a long time. Finally, he asked the question that had been troubling him since the confrontation began. Why show me this? Why not just fight? Because, Ambassador Song Mi-ran answered, we're not trying to destroy the Council. We're offering an alternative. Every being in the galaxy should have the right to choose how they want to live. The crisis deepened when more Council fleets arrived, but so did more Alliance ships. The standoff grew until over 200 vessels from both sides faced each other in the system. Then something unprecedented happened. A Council ship, the Harmony of Voices, broke formation and moved toward the Alliance fleet. Its captain, a member of the melodic species, broadcast a message that shocked both sides. I am Captain Lyrily of the Harmony of Voices. My ship requests permission to join the Free Worlds Alliance. We have served the Council for 3 centuries, but we have watched the Alliance grow and prosper while our own people suffer under Council restrictions. Commander Zethris watched in horror as 5 more Council ships followed the Harmony of Voices across the invisible line between the fleets. His own crew was whispering among themselves, asking questions about the Alliance he couldn't answer. Admiral Bayek, he transmitted privately. I need to ask you something directly. Are you planning to attack Council space? Commander, Beck replied, we don't need to attack anyone. Every day, Council citizens choose to join us voluntarily. Every year, more species realize they have alternatives to Council rule. We're not conquering the galaxy through war. We're winning it through example. The standoff finally ended when the Council fleet received orders to withdraw, but the damage was done. Word of the confrontation spread throughout the galaxy. The Alliance had faced down the Council fleet without firing a shot, and had gained 6 new ships in the process. As the Council ships jumped to hyperspace, Commander Zethris sent one final message to Admiral Beck. This isn't over. No, Admiral Beck agreed. It's just beginning. The galaxy is big enough for both our governments, Commander. The question is whether the Council is willing to share it. Left behind in the system, the Alliance fleet celebrated their bloodless victory. But more importantly, they had sent a message to every unhappy Council citizen in the galaxy. There was an alternative, and it was strong enough to defend itself. The age of Alliance expansion was about to begin in earnest. 10 years after humanity's exile from the Galactic Council, Emperor Lee Seo-jun stood before the Alliance Senate on the great space station orbiting New Earth. The Senate chamber was filled with representatives from over 60 species, all equal members of the Free Worlds Alliance. What had begun as humanity's punishment had become the galaxy's greatest success story. Lee Seo-jun was not really an emperor in the old sense. He had been elected by all Alliance citizens, human and alien alike, to serve as their leader for a 10-year term. Today he would deliver the speech that would define the next phase of galactic history. Fellow citizens of the Free Worlds Alliance, he began. His words translated instantly into dozens of languages. 10 years ago, the Galactic Council cast humanity out, believing they were solving a problem. Instead, they created something they never imagined possible, a truly free galaxy. In the audience, Admiral Han Woo-jin, now ancient but still sharp, nodded approvingly. The old soldier had lived to see his prediction come true. The galaxy had indeed underestimated what humans could do when freed from restrictions. Today, our alliance spans 217 worlds, Emperor Lee continued. Our citizens include beings from 73 different species. Our ships explore regions of space the Council has never seen. Our scientists have made discoveries that were impossible under Council restrictions. Grand Admiral Choi Min-kyung commanded fleets that proved this point daily. Her ships incorporated technologies from dozens of species, improved by human innovation and alien creativity working together. Alliance vessels could travel faster, fight harder, and explore deeper than any Council ship ever built. Ma'am, her aide reported as she reviewed the daily fleet status, the exploration fleet has discovered another habitable system beyond the galactic rim. That makes 47 new systems found this month. Excellent, Admiral Choi replied. Are there any signs of intelligent life? No, ma'am. Another empty system ready for colonization. This was the Alliance's greatest advantage. While the Council fought over the same old territories, the Alliance expanded into regions no one else had thought to explore. Humans led the way, but every Alliance species contributed their unique abilities to the effort. Chief Architect Yoon Hye-rim was overseeing humanity's greatest construction project yet, a ring world around the star. Kepler 438, the massive structure would house 50 million beings from 24 species, all working together on the galaxy's largest research and manufacturing complex. The council said projects like this were impossible, she told visiting dignitaries. Too expensive, too dangerous, too ambitious. They were wrong on all counts. When species work together without bureaucratic interference, we can build anything. The Ring World was just one of several mega projects that dwarfed anything in council space. Alliance engineers were building stellar collectors, planet-sized manufacturing centers, and even experimental ships capable of traveling between galaxies. But the most important visitor to arrive at the Alliance capital was not a dignitary or scientist. It was Council Speaker Vorthak himself, the same crystalline being who had pronounced humanity's exile 10 years earlier. His ship arrived alone, flying diplomatic flags and requesting a meeting with Alliance leadership. The being who had once commanded 47 species now came as a supplicant to the civilization he had tried to destroy. Emperor Li Seojun received him in the same chamber where the Alliance Senate met. But instead of sitting on a high throne like council speakers, Li sat at a simple table across from his former judge. "Speaker Vorthak," Emperor Li said politely, "it has been many years since we last met. How can the Alliance help you today?" Vorthak's crystal body flickered through several colors before settling on a dull blue, the color of defeat. "Emperor Li, I come to offer humanity readmission to the Galactic Council, not as junior members but as senior partners. The Council recognizes that humanity has exceeded our expectations." "That is generous," Emperor Li replied carefully, "but humanity is no longer interested in Council membership." "I don't understand." President Taksara of the Alliance Senate, a former Council species who had defected 5 years earlier, leaned forward. "Speaker Vorthak, you seem to misunderstand the situation. The Alliance is not a human government that might want to rejoin the Council. It is a completely different form of civilization." She gestured to the chamber around them. "Look around you. 73 species working together as equals. No dominant race, no junior members, no species considered too young or too dangerous to have full rights." Vorthak's colors shifted to confused yellow. "But surely you want to rejoin galactic civilization?" "We are galactic civilization," Emperor Li replied. "We represent half the inhabited galaxy. Our trade networks reach systems the Council has never heard of. Our technology surpasses Council achievements in every field." The truth was even more devastating than Vorthak had feared. The Council was not facing a rebellious former member. It was facing a completely superior alternative that was growing stronger every year. "What do you want?" Vorthak asked finally, his crystal body now flickering between several different colors of distress. "Nothing from the Council," President Taksara answered. "We want every being in the galaxy to have the freedom to choose how they live. Council citizens who want to join us are welcome. Council worlds that want to switch governments are welcome, but we will not force anyone to change." "You're destroying everything we built over thousands of years," Vorthak protested. "No," Emperor Li corrected gently. "We're offering something better. The Council was a great achievement for its time, but times change. The galaxy has outgrown the need for a single dominant government that restricts growth and innovation." As if to prove his point, reports arrived during their meeting that 3 more Council systems had voted to join the Alliance. The Mineral Extraction Guild had finally decided that Alliance mining techniques were too valuable to ignore. The academic cooperative had defected after Alliance universities offered them unlimited research freedom. Even the traditional farmers' union had joined after seeing Alliance agricultural innovations. "The defections will stop," Vorthak declared, though his colors suggested he didn't believe his own words. "Will they?" asked Admiral Han Woo-jin, speaking for the first time. The old human smiled kindly at the Council speaker. "Every year your people see what we've built. Every year, more of them decide they want the same freedom we offer. You can't stop that with laws or threats." Vorthak's final offer was desperate. "Name your terms. What would it take for humanity to return to the Council and end this rebellion?" Emperor Li Seojun stood up slowly. "Speaker Vorthak, you still don't understand. This isn't a rebellion. This is evolution. The galaxy has grown beyond the need for the kind of government the Council represents." "We're not trying to destroy the Council," President Taksara added. "If Council species want to continue living under your system, that's their choice. But they should also have the choice to try something different." The meeting ended with no agreement. Vorthak returned to Council space to report that negotiation had failed. The Alliance continued its peaceful expansion, welcoming new members and exploring new frontiers. 20 years after the exile, Admiral Han Woo-jin, now over 90 but still serving as Alliance advisor, stood on the observation deck of the newest Alliance capital ship. Around him, a fleet review was in progress, thousands of ships from dozens of species flying in perfect formation. A young Alliance officer approached him. She was half human, half Cedian, with the best traits of both species. Her name was Commander Park Hye-jin, and she represented the future of galactic civilization. "Admiral," she said respectfully, "the fleet review is complete. All ships are ready for the next exploration mission." Han Woo-jin looked out at the magnificent fleet, ships designed by human engineers, powered by crystalline technology, armed with weapons developed by the Silicon Brotherhood, and crewed by beings from dozens of worlds. "Commander," he said with deep satisfaction, "look at what we've built. The Council thought they were punishing us. Instead, they gave us the greatest gift possible, the freedom to become everything we were meant to be." Commander Park smiled and looked out at the fleet with pride. "The galaxy belongs to all of us now, sir." And in those words, Admiral Han heard the future of galactic civilization, not dominated by any single species, not restricted by ancient fears, but open to every being willing to reach for the stars. The alarm bells rang across Earth's Global Defense Council building, but nobody seemed worried. Kang Woo-jin sat at his desk, drinking his morning coffee like any other day. He was Earth's chief diplomat, and he had seen many strange things in his 50 years of life. Today would be another strange day. "Sir, we have visitors," said his assistant, poking her head through the door. "Big ones." Woo-jin looked up from his coffee. Through his office window, he could see the massive ships floating in space above Earth. They were huge, dark, and covered with strange lights. The ships looked like giant metal insects with sharp edges and glowing red spots. "Velthari?" he asked. "Yes, sir. Their commander wants to speak with you. Says it's urgent." Woo-jin smiled. He had been waiting for this day for a very long time. His grandfather had told him stories about the Velthari when he was a child. His great-grandfather had been there when the truce was signed 3,500 years ago. Now it seemed the truce was over. "Send them to the main meeting room," he said, "and call Park Subin. She'll want to see this." Park Subin was the director of Human Defense Forces. She was a small woman with gray hair and kind eyes. People often made the mistake of thinking she was just a sweet old lady. They were very wrong. Subin had been protecting Earth for 30 years. She knew things that would make grown men cry. Subin arrived at the meeting room just as the Velthari appeared on the big screen. The alien commander was tall and thin, with 4 arms and skin like dark metal. His eyes glowed red and sharp teeth filled his mouth. He looked very angry. "I am High Commander Takvesh of the Velthari Empire," the alien said. His voice was deep and scary. "I speak for the Emperor himself." Woo-jin sat down in his chair and smiled. "Hello, Commander. Nice to meet you. I'm Kang Woo-jin. This is Park Subin. Would you like some coffee?" The alien commander looked confused. "Coffee? Human, do you not understand why I am here?" "Oh, I have a pretty good idea," Woo-jin said. He took another sip of his coffee. "You're here about the truce, right? The old one from 3,500 years ago? The truce is broken," Takvesh roared. "For too long, the Velthari Empire has honored the ancient agreement. For too long, we have let your weak species live in peace." "No more!" Subin leaned back in her chair. She looked bored. "So you're declaring war on us?" "Yes, we declare war on all of humanity. You will surrender your colonies. You will give us your ships. You will serve the Velthari Empire or you will die." Woo-jin started laughing. It was a quiet laugh at first, then it got louder. Soon he was laughing so hard that tears came to his eyes. Subin started giggling too. Even Lee Dongwoo, who had just walked into the room, began to smile. Lee Dongwoo was the chief of strategic intelligence. He was a thin man who always looked like he knew a secret. Today his smile was bigger than usual. "What is so funny?" Takvesh demanded. "We have 1,000 ships. Our weapons can destroy planets. Your pathetic species will be crushed." Woo-jin wiped the tears from his eyes. "I'm sorry, Commander. It's just, well, this is exactly what we expected you to say." "Expected? Oh yes, we've been waiting for this day for a very long time. My family has been waiting. Subin's family has been waiting. Actually, all of humanity has been waiting." The alien commander looked even more confused. "Waiting? You should be afraid. You should be begging for mercy." Subin stood up and walked to the window. She could see the Velthari ships hanging in space like dark clouds. Commander, can I ask you something? What? How long did it take you to get here from your homeworld? 6 months of travel time, Takvesh said proudly. We are very fast. 6 months, Subin repeated. That's interesting. Our pizza delivery is faster than that. Dongwu laughed. Subin, be nice to our guests. I am being nice, she said. Commander, thank you for the advance notice. It's very polite of you to tell us you're coming to destroy us. Most people just show up and start shooting. Advance notice? Takvesh's red eyes grew brighter. This is not a warning. This is a declaration of war. Right, Wu Jin said. He was still smiling. War, got it. When would you like to start? We're pretty busy this week, but maybe next Tuesday would work. You mock us. A little bit, yes, Dongwu admitted. But only because this is so funny. You really think you can beat us with those old ships? Old ships? These are the finest warships in the galaxy. Subin walked back to her chair. Commander, what year do you think it is? It is the year 4024 by your calendar. And when was the truce signed? The year 524. So that was 3,500 years ago, right? Yes. And in those 3,500 years, what do you think humans have been doing? The alien commander was quiet for a moment. Growing food, making babies, living your short, meaningless lives. The three humans looked at each other and started laughing again. Oh, Commander, Wu Jin said. You really have no idea, do you? Idea about what? About what humans do when they have 3,500 years and nothing to do but wait. Subin picked up her phone and sent a quick message. Commander, please take your time getting to Earth. We want you to see everything clearly. Maybe fly slowly. Stop and look around. Why would we do that? Because, Dongwu said, you're going to want to remember this day. Trust me. Takvesh stared at the three humans. They were not acting like people who were about to die. They were not afraid. They were not angry. They were acting like this was all a big joke. You are either very brave or very stupid, he said. Maybe both, Wu Jin agreed. But Commander, before you start your attack, can I give you some advice? What? Call home first? Talk to your emperor. Ask him if he really wants to do this. Because once you start shooting at us, we're going to have to shoot back. And you might not like what happens next. The alien commander's image flickered and disappeared. The three humans sat in silence for a moment. Well, Subin said finally, that went better than expected. Should I call the president? Dongwu asked. Not yet, Wu Jin said. Let's see what they do first. Besides, we should probably dust off the old contingencies. Which ones? Subin asked. All of them, Wu Jin smiled. After 3,500 years, it's time to show the galaxy what humans can really do.